Hello and welcome to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce, where we connect with Troy Chamber members as they give us a glimpse into their company and share some of the business lessons they've learned along the way. Hi everyone, I'm Tara Thompson-Cusack, President and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined today by our amazing co-host and Vice President of the Chamber, Sheila Denstead.
Hi everybody.
First, I'd like to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. Stay tuned for our first commercial break, where you can learn how you can rely on Trion. Well, we've got a great show lined up. Sheila, why don't you tell us a little bit about our guest today?
Well, I am excited to, and if you'll bear with me, there's a lot of important information here I want to make sure we share. Today, we're meeting with Suzy Siegle. Suzy is an attorney, educator, and a Walsh College's chief champion, currently serving as their 9th president and CEO. She holds a bachelor's degree, a Master of Business Administration, a Juris Doctor, and a doctorate in higher education leadership and management, where her dissertation focused on an innovative and entrepreneurial operating models in 21st century higher education. Her research focuses on locus of control psychology, especially as it pertains to helping to high-performing leaders and entrepreneurs. She's an author of the book, Locus, Take Control and Change the Direction of Your Life, and the Thrive Journal, a step-by-step guide to help you create and accomplish your goals. She's a certified heart math trainer, a certified executive coach through the Center for Executive Coaching, and has earned certifications in neuroscience and brain health, the neuroscience of learning and development, and consumer neuroscience and neuromarketing. All of this, and she's here today with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. Wow.
I mean, I'm just excited because now I at least know I have some books to buy. Like, those sound very exciting, but I'll need to know more about it. So, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, we are huge fans of Walsh. Walsh has been such wonderful chamber members with us for years. And I just have a more personal touch to it, is the reality of it is that you guys, the education you guys provides amazing quality people in the workforce. And I cannot commend you enough. And I'm being selfish right now because Sydney, who we just promoted, is actually our director of marketing and events. So she just got the promotion. She's over, for those who can't see us and are just listening, she's actually in the room right now, Sydney. But obviously Walsh had a part to deal with that because we are beyond excited to have her on our team. And a lot of that we do give credit to Walsh and the great education you guys have provided. But I know, and I can tell how passionate you are about your job and about Walsh. Can you share a little bit about your role and what gets you out of bed every day?
Yeah, well, first of all, Sydney, congratulations. We are so proud of you. Yeah, and Sydney was at our comeback commencement that we just had on our campus a couple weeks ago.
We watched. We live streamed.
Oh,
we did watch.
Oh my gosh, this is great.
Absolutely.
Cool. I am so honored and grateful to be Walsh College's president and chief champion. I get up every day and I can't wait to start the day. I can't wait for my feet to hit the ground. And my colleagues know who I message sometimes in the morning. We have this little message group on the leadership team on Signal to talk about our day and talk about our goals. But really, it's to work for the students and the alumni. You know, Walsh College is the best business and technology college in the world. And we are training students not only to be employable today, but promotable tomorrow. And Sydney, you're a great example of that. So
promotable today.
Promotable today, yeah. In fact, yesterday, yeah. But it is a huge privilege to work with the colleagues, my faculty, my administrative team. All of our employees at Walsh are just phenomenal. And the students and the alumni. You know, we just had an incredible Meet the Firms event yesterday on our campus. And it was just so lively and so many students there and alumni. And that's just so rewarding. It's a true privilege. And I get up every day so grateful for this opportunity and want to do the very best job I can for all of you and for Walsh and for the community. Yeah. You know, the community, the chamber, the organizations we're a part of, those are so important to help fuel our growth in our next 100 years. And we just celebrated 100-year-old.
Yay! Well, it's funny that you bring that up too, because we look at a lot of our members and it's interesting because where'd you go to school? Oh, Walsh. Where'd you go to school? Oh, Walsh. And we look around, even in our Troy community specific, and how much Walsh has touched the lives of so many professionals that we already work with. So it's great to see this continuum because our goals are always members working together and watching them educate and succeed you guys have done a lot of things, especially with our members.
Thank you. Oh, I love hearing this too. I always think about, our mission is fulfilled when our alumni are out there living it in the world and when they're impacting the community. And so that's great to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we've been fortunate to be impacted by quite a few of them, and all for the positive. You've worked a variety of leadership positions over the years. Can you tell us what you've learned about the importance of team building and teamwork in these leadership roles?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Teamwork is 100% what you need. No person is an island, and you never do anything alone. That being said, you are responsible as the leader. You are accountable, but it really is building a team that have different perspectives than you. And I think about my team, and, many of them challenge me, and they have different perspectives. They see things I miss, which is great. Hopefully I bring that to them as well, but it really is building that skill set. And my hope is always that at any point someone could come in and not really know who's in charge per se, because everybody has that leadership, that self-leadership desire to say, look, I'll take responsibility. I can step into this. So yeah, teamwork is really important. And even how they care for each other. That's one big thing I look for when we bring on a new team member. I'm not only thinking, how am I going to work with this person? Because I believe I have to have the cognitive flexibility to work with a lot of different people, right? But I also look at how can they work with each other? Will they get along well? Will they respect each other? Do they have good self-leadership? And when you build a team like that, it truly is, you can accomplish miracles, right? And what is that saying? I think it's like together, everyone accomplishes miracles or accomplishes more. That's the acronym of team. But I think that's so true. And I think about that even at Walsh. We're not going to be able to do the things we have on our vision board and on our plans unless we have a solid team. And my job as the chief champion is to bring on and nurture and grow and make sure I support that team.
And that's why you have another 100 years coming to you.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. And more.
Well, and I like the fact that you said if people walk in, they may not know who's in charge at that time because you're empowering. And I think that's the biggest deal is looking at your team and knowing that you trust them, you believe in them, and you empower them to make those decisions. And I think that's what's really cool because it removes the ego out of it. It just keeps it as you're doing what's right for your alumni and your students. And that's what the job is.
And it's really the role. It isn't the ego. It's interesting that you say that. There's a great Simon Sinek TED Talk. If you Google Simon Sinek and styrofoam cup, but you didn't think I'd say that. And he talks about, just in brief, he talks about how when you have a certain role or position, you will get things because of the title. Maybe you'll get a better office, although I don't believe in having a super fancy office. I have a wonderful office. I like where I am down with faculty and the advisors. But you might have a ceramic cup or a limousine picks you up. And then maybe when you're not in that role, you get the styrofoam cup. And it's always to know that the things you have are really not meant for you. They're meant for the role, to respect that and not try to be that role in and of itself, to try to have the team and then also be there as the steward of the organization. Because Walsh College is Walsh College. What's in their DNA and our DNA and what we're growing, that isn't Suzy, that isn't any one person.
Yeah.
It's really what's there with the students and the alumni. And our job is to shepherd it and to steward it into the next 100 years and beyond.
Yeah, it's that servant leadership model where you're there to serve. And if you know that, you'll do it well.
Yeah.
I think is the piece.
I think it resonates with what's in the human heart, too. This isn't like trying to sound altruistic. This is actually the best way to lead. I mean, it's the most fulfilling way to lead because it just takes you out of it. And it's not about you. And I think there's something in the human spirit that thrives when we're in pursuit. Was it Napoleon Hill that said a definite major purpose? And for me, Walsh is that definite major purpose. And for so many.
Oh, I'm going to love that. So this sounds like a perfect time to take a little break and hear a word from our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. We'll be right back.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Trion and its team of attorneys. Trion can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Trion, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTrion.com.
You can always rely on Trion.
Welcome back to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. We are here with Suzy Siegle, president of Walsh College. Suzy, you mentioned the concept of locus of control. I actually have to read this, so I know this because this was in your bio. And having an internal locus of control. Can you share a little bit about what that is and what it means for leadership and success?
Sure. Yeah. In brief, locus of control, 1954, Dr. Julian Rotter, psychologist Julian Rotter, identified this theory in psychology where he said it really is where you believe the power and agency of your life lies. So if you tend to be more internal, then you would say, oh, I'm responsible for the outcomes, my choices, decisions, even the circumstances you find yourself in. Like even today when I came here, I was probably 3 minutes behind my time. And it's like, I'm responsible for that. I didn't leave my office with enough time. I didn't sit there and blame traffic or, oh, I couldn't find it. So it's just where do you take ownership? If you're on the external continuum, you tend to blame luck, chance, powerful others, circumstance. And so when you have a strong internal locus, it just correlates with better outcomes in your life, whether it's your leadership, your relationships, your health, your money. And so rather than try to say, well, people are fixed, I believe we all have an internal locus. We just don't know how to grab control, right? And that's the book. And so if we can get that there for leaders, because so many times leaders feel like this is just out of control. I have these emotional responses. I can't, this same thing keeps happening over and over, right? That's why it's so important for leaders so that they can really focus their locus and they can deliver for their teams and they can do so in clarity and, just not be in overwhelm, be in clarity, be in focus and just move ahead. So to develop that internal locus, that's what we did. We did a focus group of 17 people over the course of 3 weeks. They did a certain intervention, which is the Thrive Journal. And then we saw statistically significant results in their locus of control. So that's like the dry academic side of it.
I like the scientific steps you're putting into place for that.
And with all the neuroscience that's there. So I can give you all the neuroscience all day long, but basically I can help you get more control over your life. I did it myself. I mean, all of this was a book I basically wrote for my younger self. But I think it's so important in leadership, and it's really helped me in leadership.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of leadership, Tara, I think it's a good time for our favorite segment, Did You Know?
Oh, that's a great idea. So Sheila, what are we going to learn about today?
Well, today we're going to learn about leadership enrichment programming. Our leadership enrichment group just went through an overhaul of their programming. I'm excited to announce they'll be meeting the first Wednesday of every month from 8:30 to 8:30 to 10 a.m., and their focus will be making our members better leaders. So make sure you visit troychamber.com/events to see when their next meeting is scheduled.
Well, that's great. I'm glad I know. And now you know too. Now I'm curious about maybe we have another book report that we could be doing.
I want to focus on the locust.
I know.
You said that and I just couldn't get that out of my head.
I love it so much. Oh, perfect. So, Suzy, as we continue to talk about leadership, what do you think is the success equation for leadership in the world today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say attitude and mindset are 99%. And probably 10 years ago, if you asked me, I would probably put that in the 90s, but I'm really at 99% because you have the skill set at some point. You have the aptitude, you have the information, you have the education and experience if you're in a leadership role. Most people do, or they learn it on the job. But it's really your attitude and mindset, how you perceive and what you believe about yourself and others. And I can tell you, working with at Walsh, I have incredible people that I work with, from the board to our students, to our alumni, to our faculty, but they're all different in how they communicate, in their affect, and if they're introverted or extroverted. And if I moved through the world expecting them to communicate like me and I had an attitude, I would be always disappointed and always frustrated instead of seeing them for who they are and adapting. So I think many times, and we teach this at Walsh, we actually just redesigned our MBA program in organizational resilience. And we teach, which is phenomenal. Yeah. It's a great time to, by the way, to take that program coming out of COVID, because every organization is like, how can I build more resilience? Yeah. How can I get more resilient leaders? But it's really attitude and mindset. It's understanding that how you perceive the world impacts not only what you bring in and attract, but also how you show up. And even sitting here in this room, thank you, you commented on loving the energy, but imagine the energy I'm bringing. If I came in and brought kind of depleted and over,
welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, like I can't do this right now, and you would feel it. And you'd be like, I can't wait till she leaves, right? And so I'm responsible as the chief energy officer, and that's actually the title of my next book, to show up every day. Now, do I do it perfectly? Oh, no. In fact, this week I failed like 3 times. And I chatted with my COO and I was like, and he's kind of like my mentor and coach on some things. I said, Tom, I think I messed up here, and here. He's like, yep, just do this, just shift it, and I can have those conversations in a vulnerable way. Because a lot of times CEOs would say, oh, you're not supposed to show vulnerability. Well, thank you, Brene Brown, for opening that up, know. But also just being able to say, I'm still learning too. I haven't had this whole thing mastered, but I know where I need to go. And it's just having that grit and persistence. So attitude and mindset.
Well, and obviously, like you mentioned, the fact is that you are communicating with all different types of people all the time. And I think one thing, and I do want to give Walsh another plug. Sorry, I'm that girl.
No,
But
great.
I like the
No
fact that
problem at all.
Walsh hires professionals in the fields.
Yeah.
So you're not dealing with just the standard educator who has been reading books and spewing those knowledge on it, not in a bad way, but you're working with people in the field where they have their own preconditioned thoughts. They know some of the realities of it. And that does change communication styles.
Oh, 100%. Our faculty are exceptional. Not only are they academically qualified for their roles, they have to be from an accrediting standpoint, but they are so professionally experienced so that they give students the skills to hit the ground running. And we had some of our faculty at the event last night at Meet the Firms, talking to the firms, encouraging our students. And I've never seen such a dedicated group of folks invested in the success of the students. I mean, they really believe in the mission.
Yeah.
And I saw that when I was interviewing. I saw that when I came aboard Walsh. I said, oh, this is a special place. In fact, so many people will say that. And there's no reserve in my mind saying we are the best business and technology college. I know it. I believe it. We live it every day.
It was huge when you, as a student, walk in and you're dealing with someone who's walked the walk.
Yes.
What they're telling you happens versus, oh, I read it in a book somewhere. It is very different.
It's a difference in a research institution, which are fabulous. I have
Yes,
my own, I went to
absolutely.
University of
Yes.
Michigan, and I have but I will tell you, I learned more in my more applied teaching colleges where I worked and where I got my degrees as well. So there's just a difference. Both are great, but I prefer this. And I know for Walsh, for business and technology, that applied focus is so critical.
Yeah.
Well, to say we appreciate you being here is an understatement. This has been incredible.
Let's keep going.
Let's do this.
Well, here's something.
Yeah.
Suzy, what can you tell us today that our members listening can walk away and make themselves better leaders the minute they hear that?
No, I love that you said that. Okay, two quick things I would say. First, imagine a world where if you were asked the question in any given day, what percentage of actions, decisions, choices, or events were in your control? Imagine if you could answer in the high 90s right away, okay? And what if I told you you can? And this is not a plug for the book, but if you're interested to know why, get the Locust book. It will walk you through all of that in a way that's really deep, that isn't one of those rah-rah things. But I would say to you, you have a lot more control over your emotions and your reactions and your responses than you think. And if you're willing to say, and willing to have the humility to say, you know what? That's all a neurological behavior. Like you mentioned the neuroscience certificates. Well, that is so that I could study the brain and know how is it that the brain produces emotions and thoughts drive it all, right? And so if you can figure that out and intervene at that level, I promise you can get change in your life. You can come out of overwhelm, you can reduce anxiety, and you can thrive. That would be number one. And number two, I would say you're not in the world alone. You have to build a community, a mastermind community. Oh, by the way, we're building that out in our alumni association and alumni mastermind. If you know Joe Polish's Genius Network.
Yeah.
And I'm not plugging his Genius. It's probably very good. It's probably very good, Joe. But no, and I know people that have done it, but we're going to do something with our alumni because you are the average, as Jim Rohn says, of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you want to make sure that the people you have in your orbit are there. And you know why that is? If you want to believe me, it's a law of physics. Google metronomes and entrainment, and you'll see metronomes all set at different frequencies entrain within a minute and a half. So anything that's made of molecules that vibrates, and human beings will entrain with the dominant vibration. So it's really important the company that you keep, because if you're around a bunch of people that are in the breakdown, the negative, look at another problem. I don't have a solution, but somebody fix it, right? You're going to go that way. Whereas if you're around high performers that are solution focused, that always are challenging themselves, are self-reflective and see the good in things, not dismissing the problems, but seeing the good, you will entrain with that. So that's really important. And a lot of people don't know that. They just think, I get up every day and it's just random who I'll see. But really, you have to make sure you surround yourself with a community and a team of people that help you get where you want to go. They can be diverse. They should be. They can be inclusive. They should be. But they should be focused on the solution and the positive and optimism and not on the breakdown, or you'll entrain with that.
I'm so grateful for that comment just because I'm usually with Sheila or Sydney. So I think this is a good sign.
And then you can set that vibration. You can decide the energy that you bring in, right? Because, we actually have more control over that. We're not an autopilot, but you have to know how to operate that mechanism. And that's what Locust talks about. It talks about things in terms of a compass and a magnet. The compass are the conscious goals where you want to go. The magnet is kind of what pulls you back. Well, that's the subconscious mind. That's running the ship. That's 95%. So we teach you how to go in, make the change there, so you get real, lasting change. You don't just always go, I came out of this leadership seminar, and then the next day I went back to how I was. No, we actually can do real Locust change.
I'm so getting on Amazon.
Oh,
after
I know,
this.
right?
I think our own internal book report will be due in about a couple weeks. Let's all get this book.
It's not a long book. It's actually very short, if you think. And for me, that's a shocking thing because people know me. I can write an email that's longer than the book. But my team is laughing at that if they're listening. But no, I mean, and I will say, this is knit through the fabric of Walsh. This type of self-leadership, resilient leadership, locus of control. We have a DBA program. So now that if you have masters, you got to think about a DBA program, and we're really building that in there as well. And I'm really grateful for the team because we look at business and technology as leadership that empowers today and tomorrow. We want to, like you said, empower people. We want to empower our students because we want them leading. You can't change the world unless you're in a role that can have impact. And you don't have to always be in a leadership role, but you have to lead something, whether it's a team or whether it's an initiative.
Well, and I think everybody does lead something. Sometimes they can't see that's what they're doing.
That's right.
But I think that's so critical for your success and empowering.
Yeah,
So
100%. You're right. 100%.
Well, I absolutely am. I kind of don't ever want this one to end. But it's like, I know I'm going to focus. How did you say it again? Focus
on the locust.
Focus on the locust. We're going to be getting that book soon. But that's all we have here today on Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Special thanks to our guest, Suzy Siegle, president of Walsh College. And what was the chief? What was it? Champion or?
Oh, the Walsh College chief champion.
I like it. So chief champion for Walsh College. And again, thank you to our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. For more information on upcoming events or how to join the chamber, go to troychamber.com. Thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.